The truth is, the world is running out of oil. We have less than 40 years of oil left. This presentation is about the Richard-Clem engine. Originally drawn from a PowerPoint presentation, there are many slides and clips. You're invited to pause this video to read those. In 1972 or thereabout, Richard-Clem designed a very simple engine that did not run on fossil fuels. There have been enough people who have come forward to verify that the engine existed and worked. And the best thing about the Richard-Clem engine is that it was simple. It ran on vegetable oil. It had one rotating cone as its turbine drive, which drew liquid from a reservoir. The cone spun, centrifugal force pushed the vegetable oil out at the wide end, and the exiting fluid ran through directional jets. Correspondingly, the vacuum created inside drew liquid from the reservoir. That reservoir was already incurring increased pressure from the exhaust fluids, and so the cycle became self-sustaining. After inventing this engine, Richard-Clem installed it in an automobile, and he was able to reach speeds over 100 miles an hour. Again, the beauty of the engine was that it was terribly simple. We have one promotional picture of the working engine, but we have no detailed draft plan. The engine generated a torque of 350 horsepower. Now, a small four-cylinder auto engine reaches 160 horsepower, and the large supercharged V8s can reach 400 horsepower. The engine also created significant heat. Movement of the fluids, how they were used, moving in and out of high and low pressure zones, brought the vegetable oil temperatures up to 300 degrees Fahrenheit. And these vegetable oil fluids lasted for thousands of operating hours. Now, Richard-Clem never applied for a patent himself. He felt that a patent had already existed. The concept had come to Richard-Clem based upon a pump used by the city of Dallas to move asphalt. When I started to explore this project, I started to work with cones and spiral channels. And after hundreds of hours of exploring different cone shapes, different spiral rates, I concluded that a cone could be easily replaced with a channeled disc. If this engine's main driving force was to be based upon known physics of fluid flows, then a channeled disc could accomplish exactly the same as Clem's cone. It seems clear that once the rotating disc reaches its certain operating range, a series of equilibriums are attained. The flow rate of fluid in and out, the temperature generated through fluid flows, even the rotational speed of the engine had high and lows once it had reached its sustaining rate. To obtain a constant flow of fluid across in my example, the 9-inch disc, the rate of fluid being injected at the 1-inch radii center has to be 72 times as much as that exiting through the peripherals. It's the same volume, but that flow through that narrow channel must move 72 times as fast. because of course the perimeter is so much larger than the radii. A pictorial of this using a 16th inch wave should demonstrate the volume levels. In all likelihood, this change of fluid speed, along with the atomic structures therein, create the vortexes, and it is the reason that this engine works. Probably other factors also exist. In fact, other than adding a weight rotation, the flywheel effect, I can't see any reason why a cone would be any better than a disc. Channel grooves may play a secondary role in creating vibrations in sonic hammers or harmonics, known to create heat in fluids. It's called sonic power reaction. And one of those who has worked with this is Jim Grebs of Hydrodynamics in Connecticut. The design I'm putting forward is displayed on this 3D video. The rotating disc works on both hemispheres, with reservoir fluid entering from top and bottom. Simple fins direct the rotation of the disc. Centrifugal force pushes the fluid. Directional rim jets give the engine its torque. The spherical design of the oil reserve facilitates fluid movement and, in all likelihood, will aid in any fluid cooling that's necessary, making heat exchangers superfluous. The internal housing follows the contours of a fluid wave, as portrayed earlier. Some additional study probably should be done on the fixed housing, for crimping the flow of fluids may force the fluid to move faster as it's drawn into the inner chamber. It'll also create additional drag. So alternatively, if the housing is a little wider, the fluid flow may in fact be benefited by having less fluid drag. So a trade-off exists, one for the other. But this design starts with anticipating the natural equilibrium flow of the fluid. My device also has intake fins to harness some of the intake fluid flows, both North Pole, South Pole. Also consider, if Einstein taken to be correct, matter in motion consumes less volume and mass. Well, that being the case, then the amount of energy it takes to turn a 20-inch disc one rotation per minute is considerably less than the energy required to increase the speed of a disc already rotating at 1800 RPM to 1801. The reason is that the perimeter of the disc is already moving at incredible speeds, approaching 100 miles an hour. This phenomenon may also contribute to one of the reasons this engine works. And I also am going to adopt Victor Schroeberger's conclusions that in rapid flows of fluids, vortexes naturally arise, that the molecules therein naturally align, making channels unnecessary. Yet, putting such channels in may be helpful. Whenever any mass is put into motion, vibration is going to result. And with vibration, pressure, compression, and decompression waves will exist. That energy has also been known to create heat. Whatever mix of driving forces are at play, the engine serves one of the most practical ends we can pursue. There's only 11 simple parts to the engine that I've designed. It copies the rotation of galaxies and solar systems. It's incredibly simple. I cannot imagine a cheaper or more economical engine to produce and distribute. We can replicate what Richard-Clem had accomplished. It would be a boon for us all.